Hope you can't hear the fan. Hope that's not be too loud. Something I'm gonna try here, just for, I don't know why I picked this up, but for a guy that has so many Bibles, I never find the one I'm looking for. A lot of Bibles, no organization. This is a New Testament in ESV, which is my preference. Anyhow, never mind. I'm rambling. I'm going to read something out of Revelation here. And let's just see where this goes. This would be Revelation 13. It's the first beast is coming on the scene. This is chapter 12 in Revelation, is where the woman and the dragon, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet and on her head, and crowned 12 stars. She was pregnant and carrying the birth out in birth pains and the agony of giving birth. The great red dragon with 7 heads, 10 horns. Let's see, his tail swept down a third of the stars from heaven and cast them onto the earth. The dragon stood before the woman, was about to give birth, so that she bore her child, he might devour it. He's waiting for her to give birth so he could kill the child. Make of that what you will. Anyhow, 13. And I saw a beast rising out of the sea with 10 horns and 7 heads, with 10 diadems on his horns and blasphemous names on its heads. And the beast that I saw was like a leopard. Its feet were like bears. Its mouth was like lion's mouth. And to it the dragon gave his power and his throne and great authority. Let's see. I saw a beast, and to that dragon gave his power. The dragon gave his power. Okay, yeah. The dragon from previously trying to kill the child is given this beast the authority, given him his throne and great authority. One of its heads seemed to have a mortal wound, but its mortal wound was healed, and the whole earth marveled as they followed the beast. I always doing Norse statements like that. The whole world. Okay, the whole world of the whole earth marveled. Okay, so at least in that moment, you know that everyone's aware of what's going on to some extent. This is not done in private. The whole earth marveled as they followed the beast, and they worshipped the dragon from before, for he had given his authority to the beast. So you have two individuals here. Well, first you have the mom and the mother and the child. That's another issue. We have the dragon who's out to get the child, and now he's created this beast. And they worshipped the dragon, for he had given his authority to the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, "Who is like the beast, and who could fight against it?" And the beast was given a mouth uttering haughty and blasphemous words, and it was allowed to exercise authority for 42 months. Now, some people say, oh, you don't take the Bible literally. It's 42 months. Not like a couple years. 42 months. It's a specific. It opened its mouth to utter blasphemies against God, blaspheming his name and his dwelling. That is, those who dwell in heaven. Also, it was allowed to make war on the saints and to conquer them. Who would be the saints? I'm going to say it's the believers. Okay? Specifically, it's coming out to war with people that believe. Or people that are actually walking it out. Or people that have Jesus manifesting through them, like we talked about in John 14. Let's just assume it's going to be believers. Put it that way. Also, it was allowed to make war on the saints and to conquer them. And authority was given it over every tribe and people and language and nation. And all who dwell on the earth will worship it. All who dwell on the earth will worship it. I keep losing my place. Everyone whose name has not been written before the foundation of the world in the book of life of the Lamb who was slain. If anyone has an ear, let him hear. If anyone is to be taken captive, to captivity he goes. If anyone is to be slain with the sword must he be slain. Here is a call for the endurance and faith of the saints. Let's go back here a moment. It was allowed to make war on the saints and to conquer them, and authority was given it over every tribe. You have to assume here, who was giving it authority? God gives Satan a certain amount of authority in this space that we're in. It's limited. Or did somehow the world give this thing authority? I'm curious of that. That's a question for me. But it's given authority to do this thing. I think what they're saying is God allowed this to happen because it's part of the prophecy. I could be wrong. Now, this is interesting. Then I saw another beast, beast 2. Another beast rising out of the earth. It had 2 horns like a lamb, and it spoke like a dragon. It exercises all the authority of the first beast in its presence, and makes the earth and its inhabitants worship the first beast. The mom of the son, the dragon, out to get the son. There's the first beast which he gives authority. The second beast now has as much authority. It makes the earth and its inhabitants worship the first beast, whose mortal wound was healed. It performs great signs, even making fire come down from heaven to earth in front of people. And by the signs that it is allowed to work in the presence of the beast, it deceives those who dwell on the earth, telling them to make an image for the beast that was wounded by the sword and yet lived. And it was allowed to give breath to the image of the beast, so that the image of the beast might even speak and might cause those who would not worship the image of the beast to be slain. It gets confusing. Also, it causes all, both small and great, another key word here, all, both rich and poor, both free and slave, to be marked on the right hand or the forehead, so that no one can buy or sell unless he has the mark. That is the name of the beast or the number of its name. This calls for wisdom. Let the one who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Make of that what you will. That's been spoken of a gazillion times, a million videos just about that. Is it this? Is it your social security number? Is it the vaccine? Or is it this new tech thing? I don't know. All I know is that God goes down many times in the Old Testament. It says, go down there and mark all those that weep or crying for the state of his people. Mark them. Put a mark on their forehead. I think he says this 3 times. 3 different passages in the Bible. Go and mark those all who weep for the people. Those who are in mourning over the state of their church, so to speak, their people. And then kill everybody else. Then I looked, and behold, on Mount Zion stood the Lamb, and with him 144,000 who had his name and his father's name written on their foreheads. Oh, foreheads again. And I heard a voice from heaven like the roar of many waters and like the sound of loud thunder. The voice I heard was like the sound of harpists playing on their harps, and they were singing a new song before the throne and before the 4 living creatures and before the elders. No one could learn the song except the 144,000 who had been redeemed from the earth. It is these who have not defiled themselves with women, for they are virgins. It is these who follow the Lamb wherever he goes. This has been redeemed from mankind as firstfruits for God and the Lamb, and their mouth no lie was found, for they are blameless. Now, if you go back into I learned something from the just a different system, let's say. When they're talking about they have not been with women, say, my gosh, I'm a married man with children. I've been with my wife. They're talking, in many cases, they believe they have not been with the harlot. Okay, they're not holding teachings of the harlot, how would you call it? The current deceptions that Christianity is under, they do not hold to that. Okay, so they are still have not participated in that. Bad doctrines or whatever the case is. And I could be wrong. You could disagree with this, that's fine. But if you go back and you say, It is these who have not defiled themselves with women, for they are virgins. They're not holding disbeliefs as truths, kind of thing. I've heard this explained several times. If you go back and look at the actual wording they're using, I do not believe it means that these are like young men who are virgins. I could be wrong, but I've heard some actually pretty good teachings on that. But take that for what it is. Ooh. Let's go. Then I saw another angel flying directly overhead. Let me back up a minute. So they are virgins, and these who have followed the Lamb wherever he goes. These have been redeemed for mankind as first fruits for God and the Lamb. And in their mouth was no lie was found, for they are blameless. No bad doctrines. They don't believe some incorrect teachings. That's how I take that. Then I saw another angel flying directly overhead with an eternal gospel to proclaim to those who dwell on the earth. Now, remind you, the 144,000, they've been pulled out already. Okay? These are those ones we just spoke of. Redeemed. Okay, they come back with an eternal gospel to proclaim to those who dwell on the earth. It's the people that are left behind, so to speak. To every nation and tribe and language and people. Everyone. And he said with a loud voice, "Fear God and give him glory, because the hour of his judgment has come. And worship him who made heaven and earth, the sea and the springs of water." All right? So as all this stuff shit has been going on, lies, we're believing the wrong thing, this, that, and the other, then another event happens, and then they show up, and they're saying, hey, get back to God, in a sense. Another angel, a second, followed, saying, "Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great, she who made all nations drink the wine of passion of her sexual immorality." Now think about what I just said previously. Another angel, second, fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great. I think it's another harlot harlot character there. She who made all nations drink the wine of the passion of her sexual immorality. Okay? Well, if you drink the wine of the passion of her sexual immorality, maybe you're not a virgin anymore. You're holding a lie, a bad doctrine. That's why you didn't get picked up the first time. Okay? So that's why I say it doesn't become like a sexual thing, like these are sexual virgins. The people that have not participated in the lies of the whatever churchy thing was going on. False church, whatever. So they're getting kind of a second chance here. Hey, you've been following this lie. Look what happened. Look what has happened. Now you got to stand up for it. It's going to get ugly, but you got to stand up for God at this point. Give him your praise, and we'll see what happens. And another angel, a third, followed him, saying with a loud voice, "If anyone worships the beast and its image and receives a mark on his forehead or on his hand, he also will drink the wine of God's wrath." So it sounds to me like there's a choice that has to be made. Maybe today or maybe at this time. Okay? These people have said all the world has been deceived. We've already said that the whole world has been through something here. Maybe they, hopefully they didn't receive the mark, whatever the case is. But it says, if you do, you will receive God's wrath. Poured full strength into the cup of his anger, and he will be tormented, and you will be tormented with fire and sulfur in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment goes up forever and ever. And they have no rest day or night, these worshippers of the beast and its image, and whoever receives the mark of its name. Now, and is that your credit card? Is that your, could that be your mindset, maybe your attitude? It could be all sorts of things, I'm thinking at this point. Anyhow, I don't think we're there yet. Here is a call for the endurance of the saints, those who keep the commandments of God and their faith in Jesus. Go back to John 14:15. And I heard a voice from heaven saying, "Write this, blessed are the dead who die in the Lord from now on. Blessed indeed, says the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, for their deeds follow them." Let's read that again. Blessed are the dead who die in the Lord die in the Lord from now on. It means they're most likely going to have to be executed. Then I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and seated on the cloud one like a son of man, with golden crown on his head, and a sharp sickle in his hand. And another angel came out of the temple, calling with a loud voice to him who sat on the cloud, Put in your sickle and reap, for the hour to reap has come, for the harvest of the earth is fully ripe. So he who sat on the cloud swung his sickle across the earth, and the earth was reaped. They're harvesting. Then another angel came out of the temple in heaven, out of the temple in heaven, and he too had a sharp sickle. And another angel came from the altar, the angel who has authority over the fire, and he called with a loud voice to the one who had the sharp sickle, Put in your sickle and gather the clusters from the vine of the earth, for its grapes are ripe. So the angel swung his sickle across the earth and gathered the grape harvest of the earth and threw it into the great winepress of the wrath of God. And the winepress was trodden outside the city, and blood flowed from the winepress as high as the horse's bridle for 16,000 stadia. Now back up a moment here. You have to ask yourself, once you read this, well, wait a minute. That sickle, is he harvesting the good or the bad? Because he ended up in the wine press. Or is that part of the, they're processing these people again through some sort, I think they're harvesting the bad, removing the bad. Could be wrong, but depends on how you read that. Anyhow, that's chapter 14. I might continue that again. It's just certain questions you get, and people, especially now, a lot of people start to talk about, is Musk or Trump the Antichrist, or so-and-so the this or the that. And then you have to look too. That was chapter 14. What happens right before? You got the woman, the dragon, the first beast. The first beast, the woman, the dragon. Seventh trumpet. The two witnesses are part. Some say, we're in that time right now. Where's the two witnesses? The two witnesses are 3 chapters before this. And the whole world sees that. We're in that. No, you haven't had the two witnesses yet. And the two witnesses is not a private event. The whole world sees it. Anyhow, I'll shut up. This is going long enough. Love you. God bless.